Hi, this is Neil from EA Media. Well, yesterday I read that Symantec may be looking to sell off their certificate business, so I thought I'd do this video on the use and overuse of encryption.
Somewhere over the last decade, there's been a shift in the focus on using encryption. We used to use both HTTP and HTTPS, FTP and secure FTP, and understand when one is used versus the other. But something has happened along the way, and now it's become a knee-jerk reaction to automatically put in place encryption for anything that you're doing. Putting in a web application internally? Use HTTPS even though it's not externally focused. Transferring files over an ESB internally? Gotta use secure FTP. What's been lost along the way is the understanding of the information that's being communicated and its importance. Remember, if information is considered public, it doesn't mean that you have to treat it like it's the crown jewels of the organization. At the same time, the internal strategies of the company aren't something that you want everybody to know. In short, people got lazy and started treating everything as if it was sensitive data. It's easier to just automatically use encryption regardless of whether it's needed or not, simply because you don't want to have to make decisions. Or, and I wouldn't be at all surprised by this, maybe security people started saying, always encrypt. Encryption is an important tool in the toolkit of a security architect. It's great for securing that sensitive information that's in the database that you need to protect. It's great for ensuring that the information you want to send from one partner company to another partner company isn't intercepted. And the use of keys is a great way of ensuring that there's proper authentication of disparate systems. Oh, and by the way, there is a difference between using keys and using certificates. But again, people don't understand the difference and how or when to use either. But there are downsides to using encryption that people have to remember. For instance, as computers become more powerful, it becomes easier to decrypt something that shouldn't be decrypted. The use of encryption will impact the performance of systems because it's just another activity that the resources of a server has to deal with. And certificates can expire, so you have to have a set of management activities in place to ensure that the expiration doesn't occur unintentionally. It used to be, back around the turn of the century, that there was going to be a year of PKI. Never happened. People started putting in PKI solutions so they could manage the certificates and keys that were being used. But guess what happened? Projects started using self-signed certificates and not those being issued from PKI infrastructure. Why? Probably because it's too much of a bother to get one. You had self-signed certificates and you had publicly issued certificates from VeriSign, Entrust, whomever. To also have a managed system was now to have 3 different processes for 3 different types of certificates. Guess which one got ignored? Here's my rule of thumb. If someone hasn't determined what their information classifications are, then any requirement for encryption can't be backed up. You have to understand the importance of the information before determining if encryption should be used. Here's another rule that I go by. In an enterprise-size organization, expect at least one system a year to fail because of an expired self-signed certificate. It's going to happen, so plan for it and plan for how to mitigate it. Here's another rule related to the last one. Enterprises will not know where self-signed certificates are located. I would recommend when you first start with an organization to arrange for a discovery of self-signed certificates. You can arrange for a use of a tool from a number of vendors that have them available. Just do a search in Google for Certificate Discovery Tool and you'll get a list of vendors. Here's one last one. Don't create your own encryption standard. Make use of the NIST released draft on approved cryptographic standards. NIST updates their guidelines for approved algorithms on a regular basis, so why try and be an expert when that's what NIST is for? Where do I use encryption? I use it in both data in flight and data at rest situations. For data in flight, I'm looking at SSL and VPN. If I have that, in only the most extreme cases am I going to be requiring data going across that encrypted channel to be encrypted as well. For data at rest, there are very specific requirements laid out in things like PCI and HIPAA. If an industry standard requires encryption of the data at rest, for example in a database or while residing in memory, then I do it. Otherwise, I only require encrypted data if it's classified as sensitive to my organization. Maybe privacy information is considered that, but that's determined by the internal security standards and policies. Encryption is important, but don't overdo it. Like with anything, it's possible to overdo the implementation of security, and that makes systems much more complicated. And the more complicated a system is, the more likely it's going to become broken or become a security risk. Well, that's it for now. If you want more videos, please go to our YouTube channel, and you'll see plenty of other information, or go to our website. And when you're at our YouTube channel, please make sure you subscribe. That way you can help grow the EA Media community. Thanks, and I hope that helps.